Yes, Alhamdulillah. First and foremost, I will say there are basic things that have been taken for granted, but if we observe the happening in other states, we will know that these things are really an achievement. What do I mean here? I mean consistent, persistent, and unbroken payment of salaries and pension. Katsina State government, since coming into power of Governor Masari, he has never failed, even for a single month, to pay workers their dues in terms of salaries and pension. So we have noticed that even under the challenge of COVID, which virtually aground the entire world, Katsina State was able to pay its workers full salary, unlike what happened even in our neighboring states here, whereby salary was paid on the basis of percentage of what the government was able to get from the center. So I can record that as a major achievement because making comparison, we know that Katsina State has succeeded considering workers' salary or civil service as a major industry in Katsina State. That is one. Secondly, I just explained to you about payment of gratuity, where we are. We are just 2 years behind, and I'm sure he has already made inroad even in 2021, and even all those that have died, significant portion of them have been paid. So we are hoping that even if the governor is not able to write up the entire gratuity and update it by by 29th May 2023, he will significantly bring up the payment schedule to a very close period. That is another portion. Again, in the area of employment, you see, even last week when we were attending a conference or quadrennial conference of the NLC, and they said after commissioning the conference, the administrative blocks they constructed, they were talking about embargo on employment. But in reality, we don't have embargo in employment because the government has been systematically, but in a very observed manner, making employment. In education, every quarter there is a standing approval for Teacher Service Board, Science and Technical Education Board, to make submission to the government about all those teachers that have either retired, died, or withdraw their services, so that the workforce, those people that are assigned to teach our children, there is no gap that will negatively impact on them. So this has been done by Masari's administration consistently, and when you total the figure, in teachers alone, over 4,000 teachers have been employed by the administration over the period of the life cycle of the administration. I'm talking to up to now. So you see, that is an achievement, because if you go back into the history of the state, minus S power, exactly. Minus the S power, because they are temporary, we don't even consider it. Those 4,000 I'm talking about permanent and pensionable staff of the employed by the government. So, and that program of S power for degree holders and NCE holders was introduced in order to move off graduates in those categories, so that they can have something doing before a more permanent opportunity can be on. So that was high. 2,000 graduates, degree holders are employed, given 30,000 naira stipend, and 25,000 naira stipend, while those with NCE are given 20,000. For graduates, 2,000. For NCE holders, 5,000. And that is the number the government has been carrying since the program started up to date. So that is a contribution in terms of employment generation, and an effort to attack poverty and try to take off the mind of our younger element from the street, and even going back into those devilish thinking of degenerating into crime and what have you. That is another one angle. Again, under the supervision of this office, which is concerned with handling all civil service matters, we feel that a program should be executed in order to empower civil servants. So after reintroducing a vehicle loan program, and after utilization of the rent collected by the government from its own capital investment in constructing houses, which we also created an escrow account. We, instead of government utilizing it into its main account, we utilize those amounts to renovate the houses being occupied by the civil servant. That is an innovation that was never done in the history of Katsina State. So again, the vehicle loan was reintroduced so that workers who doesn't have or have a vehicle that but cannot service them properly, they can utilize the money to make their vehicle or motorcycle serviceable, so that they can be at their places of work with ease and without any much burden. So again, like I was trying to explain, we created a program which will indirectly empower the civil servant, and that program was marshaled and monitored and executed by this office. We deliberately take a census of all the civil servants that have been occupying government quarters over the years, and we assess the quarters and sold them to the workers on owner-occupier basis, and the value given to the houses was deliberately liberalized and discounted in a manner that the civil servant can afford to pay, and those who are not willing to pay can interested or have the capacity to pay, and in the process most civil servants were able to change their life for the better, because between the value given by the government and the actual value in the open market, there was a significant gap of which has successfully transformed the well-being, the economic well-being of the civil servants significantly. That is another area is training. Alhamdulillah, Man and Juma, if you assess both the conduct of the current administration in both local and foreign training, it has done marvelously well. My humble self that I'm talking to you here, I have the honor and privilege of participating in 2 international training, which I was sponsored by the government, myself alongside other government official, PAMSA establishment, permanent secretary, minister of finance, and other key staff of the administration. About 8 of us were sponsored to Dubai. We attended under the auspices of Nigerian Institute of Management, and our doctors have also been benefiting. Our staff in the finance have been, all the program rolled out by World Bank, trying to meet up those best practices in international accounting and what have you. We have been participating, and we have even hosted our Minister of Finance have even hosted a lot of training here in Katsina, which with the sole aim of arming our staff to be abreast with latest development in accounting and public finance, and also in administration. So significantly, Masari's administration has done very well in terms of training the civil servants to make them more knowledgeable and prepared for the task of providing service to the Katsina State people. Again, if you observed, when I was appointed as head of civil service of the state, even though the program has suffered as a minor setback, but we can still mention it because it was in public expenditure has been earned, or I will say has been incurred on it. You see, when I came in here, my first few weeks as head of service, I noticed that the entire landscape of the secretariat after 7 o'clock in the evening was in darkness. So the governor, I approached him and explained to him the situation, and he asked me to liaise with the Department of Energy, Power and Energy to make a submission, which we did. So, and a contract was given for the rehabilitation and even placement of illuminating points, which makes the secretariat a very brilliant entity if you come in the night. That is another achievement which makes a working environment more convivial for the state workforce. Again, the boreholes and our connection with the state mainline were also referred by the government. In fact, the first phase has been completed, which we enjoyed, and it suffered a setback. But now another contract has been handled by Water Board itself. They are on it now. Very soon, the entire secretarial complex will be reconnected with water from the main source, so that we can be able to go and open our tap, and that will improve not only our own immediate conveniences, but also the hygienic nature of the environment being a public place. So there are a lot of issues that the governor and his government have done in order to ensure that the civil servant or the civil service and institution and civil servant as workers have enjoyed and have the leverage of providing service to the people of Katsina State. And recently, about a year with some month, for the first time, we consummated that issue of primary health care under our roof. That nearly over 7,000 staff are now being controlled by a single agency to ensure a harmonized dispensation of services, harmonized growth, and harmonized discipline. So that is another achievement of the government, which we are already witnessing the efficiency such kind of arrangement is bringing. Again, the government monitored, and with the political will, we were able to mount the contributory healthcare management agency in the state. I partook in the initial stages of making or putting that program on stream. We encountered a lot of resistance, particularly from the labor and even from the peripheral society, members of the society that have educated about what the program intends to bring to the workers. But convinced, after I made a thorough study about the concept of the primary health care, the composition, the component of the program, and various clauses that have been placed in the operation manual, I became convinced that this issue can be successful if diligently implemented in Katsina State. So the governor assigned myself and the former secretary to the government of the state. We engaged labor. We had a retreat in Kano, during which we took time to explain to the labor and civil society organizations that were invited, so that we can have an all-encompassing program to weed out suspicion and earn the confidence of all those that are major stakeholders in executing that program. So on that day, I took, how do I put it? I virtually sacrificed my own personal integrity to the labor and told them that at that period I was 32 years in the service of Katsina State. Have they ever seen me or recorded anything personally that I have done to be antithetical to the wishes of the workers? They said no. I challenged them, have I ever participated in anything that will draw back? They said no. So I say, okay, I want you on the basis, on the cradle of those beliefs that you have in my own person, I want you to assist us and accept this program. You will eventually come and celebrate it. And that was what sealed our negotiation with the labor and civil society organizations. They agreed, and we only agreed on the percentage. And alhamdulillah, as I'm talking to you now, the program has even received a national recognition award. It's the best, the shortest on stream, but the best organized healthcare management agency in the country. That is one. And if you go to the various health facilities that have been patronized, you will see them from the capitations that they have been given. They have been able not only to provide quality drugs But even the aesthetic structures of the hospital have been gradually uplifted. Facilities, new facilities that were hitherto not in the facilities are now being bought from the proceeds of those capitations that the agency is being given to them. So, Malam and Juma, in a nutshell, these are some of the major achievements that the governor has recorded. And let me state one point again. I convinced the governor, which he agreed and supported at 100%, that what he accumulated should be entirely be allowed to be utilized for the purpose of the dispensation and administration of this contributory healthcare agency. No agency or government should come and poach or encroach into those, and he has agreed. So far so good. That is why we are having the sufficient resources, and wherever we notice a breach, we will quickly intervene and address the problem. So far the program is a success story, alhamdulillah.